The key is, better sight, better security for the doors, improve both the glazing and the glass and the doorways itself. So that's the primary focus, but we just can't do the entryways without dealing with the front office and then the front steps in the courtyard. Polson School is the original courtyard that was done in the 60s, and it needs some attention. So we're going to modify the front courtyard as well, including the office. And the same with Brown. Brown was done in the 70s. The front sidewalk in the courtyard there is in tough shape, not something that I would say I'm proud of. So besides doing the front entry and the glass and the doorway for Polson, we'll do the same for Brown. So with that said, I'm going to jump through the PowerPoint presentation really quickly, unless you have any questions.
Anyone have any questions before we go into that?
Go ahead.
Okay, take it away, Bill.
Okay. So, and Ron can jump in. Everybody see it okay?
Yes.
All right, cool. So, I'm going to be very quick, and then if any, we can go back through it. This is, of course, the Brown School, the location that we're talking about. You can see the sidewalk and the entryway. That's part of the project. You can see now walking in the entrance that's existing. We're proposing a new vestibule. These doors are here, right and left, but straight ahead, we're going to put a new wall and a doorway there so someone could come into this vestibule and then talk to someone through a window into the main office at the Brown School. This is the proposed new courtyard.
Sorry.
Right now, if you walk out, the pavement's old and there's stone and plantings. We're going to make it a little more user-friendly, put a little fence up, a small retaining wall because there's some grade issues, put some bollards. Those are, poles that will protect anybody from jumping the curb and being able to drive up onto the sidewalk and into where somebody may be sitting. Just more details about the chairs and the seating arrangement that we're going to have.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
Bill, I'm sorry. Can you go back 2 slides and show the bollards?
Yes.
Does it make sense to put one bollard in the middle of that sidewalk on the right, and also maybe 1 or 2 on the sidewalk on the left? Because a car could jump the curb before there and go through.
Yes.
Now, and I realize that it would have to leave enough room for ingress and egress for like a wheelchair access.
You're talking about right here where I'm moving the cursor?
Well, just right. Yep. Up further. Yep.
Yeah,
Right there.
yeah.
Yes. So the answer is yes. Right now, we have actually movable ones that we put here, but they sort of got moved. They never moved back. So we had, because people can drive up on the sidewalk. So the answer is yes. I think that's a great idea. And I think maybe we could add that so it'll be permanent in nature.
1 there and maybe 2 on the other side.
Over here.
Yeah, because that's a wider aperture.
Yeah. And if there's a curb cut, someone could drive up. Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, if someone's trying to do damage, I don't think they're worried about following the one-way sign.
Yes.
And then the other question about bollards is, are those planted using like a metal pole and then cement around them, or are they just like cement laid on the ground?
So I'm going to ask Ron for the details. I do have them, but I don't have them memorized. I can pull them up, but it would take me a long time. Ron, can you help me with that?
Bollards are usually a steel post, concrete filled, and sunk into the ground to the frost line so that they don't heave and move.
Great.
So
Okay.
if a car hits it, it's going to stop the car.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ron.
You're
Bill?
welcome.
Yes.
Can I ask another question while we're at it? Can you go back 1 slide?
Yes.
Thank you. 1 more slide, sorry. Okay, so so that new vestibule, there's 4 doors from that new vestibule. Am I seeing that right? That there's a window to the administration, a door forward, and then a door into the CAF?
So you're correct. There's 3 doors now. The
Doors and a
main
window.
door that you walk in, right and left, and then we're going to add this 4th door that goes straight through.
And so would the door so the door straight through would be the main entrance to the building. They'd be buzzed in through the, the entry door, they buzz in, they talk through a window, and then the second door, is that always locked? Like, tell us about the process.
Yes, no problem. And so for clarification, they would have to be buzzed into the vestibule, and then they could come to the window and talk, but they could not get anywhere else. They'd be locked in this new vestibule area. They could not get into the school. They couldn't go right. They couldn't go straight ahead. They couldn't go into the office. If the office lets them, then they could be either buzzed in any one of these areas, or I believe we're going to have fobs. So if there's staff, they could just unlock the door and enter.
Okay.
But if they're not staff and they're public, they'd have to be let in. They'd have to be allowed.
And then the door, I'm just thinking about the door from the CAF would open out too, so students could exit out that door, but would that be a typical entrance?
So this right here, the cafeteria entrance that would come into the lobby.
Yeah.
So they could come out, but there would have to be staff there to let them back into this area if they wanted to go through the hallway this way. Is that what you're asking? Or if they wanted to go into the main office, they'd have to be allowed in.
I'm just wondering about the purpose of the door to the cafeteria.
I think it's there. We didn't want to remove it. We did discuss it, but we just thought it was something that we might want to keep. I think the administration would like to come and go into the cafeteria without walking all the way around.
Got it.
So I just think it was a usable door that we've been using forever. And I think there was some hesitation to remove it.
I understand. It's there. I can picture that area now. So you're really just adding an extra wall in that.
Right here. So right now, if you walk in, you can walk right into the nurse's office.
Got it.
And this wall doesn't exist.
Okay.
We could lock this door and we could lock this door, but we're going to improve these and update them so they're buzzard accessed. And we're going to, upgrade the glass.
Thank you. That answers my question. Thank you, Bill.
No problem. And thank you
So
for
then-
interrupting. If I'm going too fast or anything, just let me know.
Okay, we will.
Go ahead, Seth.
So wait, so there's a window and a door on that northwestern wall?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, if not, then the admin has to go all the way through the nurse's office to get in and out.
No, window
Okay.
and door.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see it.
The window acts as a transaction window.
Yep.
So that they can sign in, they can be given a visitor's pass, et cetera, before they're let into the building.
That makes sense. Thank you. Will it have a counter so that,
Yes,
you can put something on it and write? Okay.
exactly.
So Bill and Ron, when you say upgrade the glass, I've seen a number of schools where the security plan has similar to what we have here, which is you really have to go through two entrances and there's a space in between. But when we talk about upgrading the glass, is that against current security best practice standards, or what? I mean, to what degree have we investigated that and seen that space as a security space that really vets anybody coming into the building and can control them if we have concerns?
Go ahead, Ron.
It's not, I won't say it's bulletproof glass that's 3 inches thick. It is an upgraded security safety glass that is very hard to break through or shoot through. So the idea is to prevent somebody from smashing in the window and climbing over and getting into the building.
Well, that was my primary question. Great,
Right.
thank you.
The intent is to make that a pretty much a safe box that if assuming they get past the front door, and
Right.
once they're inside that vestibule, you find out that their intentions are not up to safety levels, they can be contained within that box.
Great,
So will
thank you.
there be like a metal shutter door on a rolling door or something to protect the admin staff on the window then?
No.
No,
So, and I think that Ron made the point pretty clear, is it's not bulletproof glass. It's not like, you know, something you would put at a police station or where, you know, you expect a lot potential gunfire. This is a higher security, more intense glass than we've ever had. But it's below the bulletproof factor. It's going to slow somebody down. They're not going to be able to smash it like they can right now, hit it with a hammer and smash it and get in. It's much more secure, but it's definitely not the bulletproof glass that we would see at like a bank or a police station.
Does it have that clear laminate that we used in Jeffrey?
So it's going to have a tint to it, I think, in some of
Yeah.
the areas. And maybe Ron can explain it more.
Yes, the windows looking into the administrative office from the entry walkway are going to be tinted so that you cannot see clearly into the administrative office. It's going to be not a frosted glass, not a frosted tinting, but a darkened tint so that you cannot see. They can see out into the walkway. But
Dad, I drew on, huh? How'd I do?
Nice job.
So this is the windows that he's talking about right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's intended so that people can't see into the office and see who's there or how many people are there. It's
Yeah.
intended to prevent clear vision in, but allowing the administrative staff to see who's at the front door.
Any other questions?
I think, well, oh, nope, Gail.
I do see a question in the chat. Wendy, do you want to read it? Or I'll read it. Question is from Diane. Are the doors in the vestibule fire doors? Do they automatically close and lock?
They are going to be closed and locked 99.9% of the time. They are not going to be, they're not intended to be propped open.
Thank you.
So yes, they're fire doors, but they'll be locked and closed all the
Yeah.
time versus the ones that have the magnet hold opens that we have
Exactly.
open all the time. They only close when the fire alarm goes off.
Yeah.
All right. Next slide. Any questions on? Uh-oh. I drew on that. I don't know how to get rid of that. Small problem. It's on every one of them, Ron. Jeez, I
That's
made a
okay.
mistake on that. See if I don't know where the eraser is.
If you click on the pen
Yep.
that you used, see if it gives you the option, right
No,
click
to the
on it,
right
see
of
if
that.
it-
To the right, right
Yeah.
there? No, I think we're in trouble. There I go, trying to think I was slick. All right, we're gonna have to go through it with that little drawing on there.
That's fine. Just hit the close button at the top right and you'll
Close,
get rid of
got it.
that.
Oh yeah, there's probably something over here I could use. All right, we'll
That's
try to
okay.
stay away from that. All
We'll
right, so
manage.
what's that?
We'll manage.
There must be something over here I can edit with. I might make it worse.
Bill, excuse me for Gail, somehow, I froze on my end. You asked me that question, read the chat box. Did it freeze while you were, did it freeze for anyone else?
No, it was good.
No.
Gail
Okay,
found.
I could hear you, Gail, but I couldn't do anything. My apologies.
No problem.
We're good.
You could have done what I did and drew on the plans. Now I can't get rid of it. Oh, now I can draw on them again, but I can't get rid of it. All right, making it worse. Okay, so unfortunately, I'd like to figure that out, but maybe I can
You know
open it
what?
back up again.
Click on the arrow that's to the left of the hand.
To the left of the hand.
See the hand? I'm pointing to the screen as if you can see me.
Yeah,
At the
I don't
top
see. Oh, yeah,
bar-
right here, this arrow.
Yeah, click on that. Now
Yeah.
click on the item and hit delete.
Oh, nice.
No, you're gonna,
Yeah, I can't get rid of that other block. I can't get rid of the line.
that's okay.
Okay, you guys all right with that?
We're okay.
And I can't get it. Oh,
Click on the arrow again. Do it away from the text.
yeah. All right, we're gonna leave it there.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so back to the outdoor sitting area. This gives more details about the vestibule that we were talking about, gives a little more details. I don't know what that is. Okay, we're ready to go to Polson?
Ready?
Polson, same way. Here's the courtyard that's been there since the 60s. The trees in the middle and elevated concrete. This is the courtyard. It's a much bigger courtyard. We're going to have the main entrance courtyard walkway this way. We're going to keep the gardens. That's a memorial garden and these trees. We're going to add, significant area, brick benches.
Also, we're going to bring that down to sidewalk level so that right now it's elevated and you can only enter it from the covered area near the front of the building. So we're bringing that down to grade so that you can walk straight through it without going up steps. It's handicap accessible now, and it's a larger, more open, more usable space.
Thank you, Ron, for pointing that out. And that's one of the main issues with that sidewalk there. Besides being old, we wanted to upgrade it. So we're going to put of course, the bollards there again. Ron pointed out nice ramping. It's a big area, so we'll be able to have a nice level ramp.
Can I ask a
More
question?
detail. Go ahead.
How is it getting bigger? Or is it just more usable space because the center area is being removed?
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you see this is an elevated
Okay.
grass area. Now you could sit on this. It's like a bench. And
Right.
these trees are here. So you can really most people walk up and down this way. This side's hardly ever used. So we're going to remove this planting bed
Okay.
that's elevated, and we're going to put a seating and benches all in this area.
Got it.
So it's going to be much more user friendly if they, this is a significant area here. They could even have just a small classroom in these kind of bench.
Bill, can I just jump in here for a minute? One of the things we're really excited about is the usable space for instruction. So one of the things that we did discover after COVID is really the usability of the outside space. It just brings a whole new dynamic to teaching. We bring kids out as much as we can. And this space is actually planned for small groups, or you could see like the upper right would be more of students listening to a teacher or someone. We have some tables for small groups. And then even in the front, there's a space for it. So we're kind of excited about the instructional purposes of this entryway as well.
That's really nice. That's great.
Thank you, Martha. That was very helpful. When we first originally thought about this, I don't think we were thinking about this kind of elaborate. I was only thinking about the ADA and making it look a little nicer. I think we brought it up a significant level. We added a bunch of stuff that I wasn't really thinking about, the seating for the classrooms that Martha brought up. So Martha and Martha has been a big help. And I don't know how many people she got involved other than Catherine, but they definitely helped us, improve the original plan. Comes with a little more money, a little more cost, but I'm optimistic that we can get it done.
So here I am with the bollards again.
Yes.
Assuming that the ramp to the curb is wide enough that a small vehicle can get through,
Yes.
do you put another bollard at the top of the ramp, a little bit past the top of the ramp or something to prevent that?
It's right here. I think, Ron, the details are here, correct?
Yes.
We have
Yeah,
one
they're-
there and one there. So
Okay.
yes,
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
yeah. There's my line again. Any other questions about the courtyard? Okay, so the main office, pretty straightforward. We're going to remove Martha's office and put a vestibule. So you're gonna walk straight in. Are you guys all orientated okay? When you from it come in now, you walk into the underneath the overhang and you take a right into the main building. This is the main hallway. We're gonna remove the wall and the glass and put a vestibule so the office can see someone coming up. They can see them in the vestibule, and there'll be a window just like Brown School, and then they can buzz them into the office. The main entrance though, during the day, when the kids come in and out, will be here when we don't have the building locked down during the day. So the main entrance will stay, but this will be the public vestibule, non-opening and closing time. Unfortunately, when we remove the office wall, we're going to have to move the assistant principal down. That will require us to modify the principal's office. So this whole area will be modified. At the same time, we're going to make some recommendations and some changes in the main office. Relay out the existing furniture, hopefully add some counter space here and a sink in this area right here. So because one of the offices we're removing was their sort of employee lounge in the front office. So we're moving it back to here. Any questions about the office?
I'm assuming the vestibule and the entranceway has similar capabilities and glass and security precautions that we saw in the Brown plan. Is that correct?
Mhm.
That is correct.
Yes.
That this is the focus, the ADA compliance for the sidewalks, and this was the focus of my plan. The extra seating and the making it more user-friendly and classroom area was a great add-on and enhancing it. So yes. So if there's not any other questions, basically those are the two projects. The next item that I'm going to go on is an add-on to the original plan. And, if we have the funding, we'll definitely start it, and we'll see how far we can go. This is the main hallway. Polson's, it's was built in the 60s. And, the ceiling, the lighting, definitely not the flooring. It wasn't that old. We have replaced the flooring, but, the building needs, I think, some improvements, lighting, appearance, flooring. So we're going to start with this main hallway, and we hope to continue that project throughout the school, over the next, however many years it takes us to do it. There's a lot of hallways, and this is a very big area. So we asked DRA to come up with a plan. Martha and Catherine definitely participated in the planning. So this is the new flooring layout. My line. This is the color scheme. We're trying to make it look much nicer. The hallway is very wide. We talked about adding some stuff to the walls, increasing the lighting, and maybe enhancing the skylights a little bit by just widening them. There are skylights in the hallway. So this is just a concept, and I have the detailed plans that we put out to bid this week. We hope to get the bids back, right before we go out on holiday, around the 21st of December. If we can get the contractors to, move on the contract, we have a walkthrough soon this week, and we're hopefully optimistic that we can get some really good pricing and move forward with this project. The plan is to get the contracts, get the bids back the 21st, review them over the holiday, and I hope to make a recommendation and award the contract right after the first of the year. That's the plan. If we need more time and the contractors need more time, we could maybe push it back a little bit, but I'm really concerned about material, ordering it, getting it, and having it ready for a very tight schedule for the summer. We're really only closed for 6 to 7 weeks. It's a lot of work to do in 6 to 7 weeks, and it's the front entrance to the school. So, to me, it would be a disaster if we couldn't get it in time and we had the front school all torn up, and that would be a problem. So I'm really concerned about getting the material and getting the project going. So we moved it along a month earlier than normal. As long as I've been doing this, usually we could, award the contract in February, even in March, and still get the work done for the summer. The last 2 summers, we've had problems, and I'm not used to that, not having my projects completed in a timely manner over the summer. So for the last 2, it's been a problem. And this year, the carports were one of them. It was a month into school before we finished. And, that's not how we like to do things. So I moved this along. So that's the background, the big picture. Ron, did I miss anything that you'd like to highlight?
No, you're good.
Martha,
covered
anything
everything.
you'd like to add?
I have a question. I mean, this project, Bill, is primarily the carpet and lighting. Is that correct?
Yes, carpet, lighting, and wall treatments.
Yeah. Just a question. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I'm assuming that materials, there is such a thing as school-related materials, because I know some carpets and others, give off fumes, or the adhesives give off fumes and impact on air quality and so forth. I'm assuming those things get looked at when we're looking at materials for schools. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. These
Absolutely.
are commercial. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ron.
These are commercial grade materials designed specifically for high traffic, high volume areas, whether they're commercial office space or school space. So the durability is definitely there. In terms of off-gassing, the changes in the materials and components of carpets and vinyls and paints has changed so much over the years that the off-gassing and the VOCs are extremely low. If you wanted to, you can do a short venting period, but it's really not necessary at this time with these materials.
It's never been a complaint. We've
Yeah.
never had any complaints with the carpet and stuff that we put in as an indoor air quality. And we're pretty aggressive about, replacing carpet. I think people are so happy to get the new carpet, and it's so old that they don't know. I've never noticed any off-gassing or any of the products that we've used.
Yeah, it's been such a change. The VOCs have dropped so low that it's not really necessary to vent out the space. The only time I've seen it done is on a large project if they're going for a LEED certification. And even then, I don't think it's necessary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Seth, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Somebody muted me on purpose. No, a lot of that is linoleum, not carpet, right? It looked like.
Right. It's a linoleum floor. There is some low pile carpet up against the wall, so that there's it has some texture to it. It's kind of like carpet, but it doesn't have the pile, so it doesn't wear fast. It doesn't show traffic patterns. But the majority of what's going down the corridor is a linoleum product.
Yeah, so the main hallway, this cream color is the linoleum. I think what's the only,
That dark blue above the wavy line.
that's, yeah. And that's
That's the wall.
that's the off beaten path. And then
Yeah.
there's a walk off mat, which, will catch dirt and stuff, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no other questions on the entrances, we can thank Ron and Martha, unless there's any other questions on those 2 things. Well, thank you both for coming and helping me with the presentation. And I'm going to move on to the other topics that I had planned for tonight, which is just to follow up on some other facility projects that I have going.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
thank you for your
Goodbye.
time. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
you.
Ron. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Martha.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
So just the other, just to qualify I'm hoping to award it right after the first of the year, but if I don't, I have a little time. So, and the process is I'll let you go ahead, Emily.
So is the goal to have the same bidder be awarded both projects?
I hope so, but it's not required.
So we could have one person, one company, whatever, doing the contract work at Brown and another one at Paulson,
We could.
or even a third one doing the hallway potentially?
No, the answer is, it's all about the money. I'm always optimistic that I can get it all done. And unfortunately, it happens on every project. It's called, the scope of the project creeps and bigger. And the budget wasn't planned for all of this. So, but this is planned and cycled maintenance, which we do have funded. And this is where we have always targeted these schools for the funding this summer. So I do have the funds. I'm just worried about, the timing and the construction market and getting the contractors to bid. Everyone's busy. So my hope is to have one contractor do it all. But if we have to, and we can only award some of it, and then I have to try to negotiate some other part of it, that could happen. It's not my preference, but I want to do whatever I can to make it happen. And if I have to, reanalyze how we do it and how it goes to get it done, I'm not against that. But my goal is to hopefully have one contractor or two do it all.
Thank you.
The hallway is definitely an alternate, adding that on, if making sure. And I don't imagine having three.
Okay,
But it's not out of the question.
understood. Thank you.
The only other things I had is,
Bill, excuse
Yes.
me, before you go any further, Diane had a question.
sure, thank you.
She asked, is it lowest bidder gets the contract?
No. The short answer is no. The lowest qualified, and that's, what we think is qualified, or the lowest contract that makes the most sense for us. So if somebody's a little more expensive, but they're using a product that we think is going to last longer, and I think that that's a better fit for the school, and it's a long-term practice that we want that kind of carpet. For some reason, I'm using an example, but we don't have to go with the lowest bidder. It might not be the best bidder, and it might not be the most qualified one for us.
Thank you, Bill. I see that Galen has a question.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just, as an example, I think the carports, the solar carports are a perfect example of that, that decision, right? We went with the people who offered the best materials and most support as opposed to the absolute lowest bidder.
Thank you for reminding me on that. Yes. And unfortunately, I've been doing this long enough where we have used the lowest bidder and not being successful. So I think we've gotten better at it. We've made the standards a little harder, and they have to qualify, and we've disqualified people that were low bidders that we weren't comfortable with. So speaking of the carports, I just wanted to confirm, they're up and running. The monitors are in the hallway at Polson, and are in the hallway. They're in the library at Hand. They've seemed to be well received. The lighting underneath the carports, people really appreciate that at night. I think they're a sought after parking space. I think the intention, and I hope that someday we'll, expand it and do more. There's no plan at this time or schedule. We need to figure out the funding, and we have so many other things going on that it's just not on the priority list, but hopefully we'll get to that. Any questions about the solar? The high school rooftop unit number 7 that has been damaged, the parts are in. It's a significant repair. We're talking about shutting the unit down for a couple days, then, with a crane lifting up the parts, and then a couple days putting it back together again. So my plan is to do that over the winter break. So we'll have that rooftop unit and that school back 100% working, is my hope and desire for the first of the year when they come back from break. At the same time, I probably had 4 or 5 guys out there today trying to come up with a short-term and long-term plan for the other rooftop units. We have 9 in total, 3 have failed. You know, these failures are not something I'm comfortable with. So I'm putting some time and money in to figure out, you know, what can I do this summer in a more aggressive plan to replace parts if I need to, so that I cannot have any failures. So I've hired some experts, and you know, I've had them out there for the last month or so trying to come up with a plan, and they're almost ready to give me their input. They're saying the end of this week or next week. So I'm thinking after the first of the year, I'll have a plan to share with you guys on my strategy for next summer and then long term. At the same time, I added, which I hadn't been, I added green energy, you know, geothermal. That's one of the things that the Board of Selectmen seem to be, you know, pushing more and more towards. They haven't come out and said only, but they sort of implied it. So I'm sort of being proactive. If I'm looking at replacing them and repairing them, I might as well look at, you know, green energy as well. So I'll hopefully have those numbers right after the first of the year to share with the board. And then, of course, we'll need the support of the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance if we're going to move it along for major repair and restoration. Any questions about the rooftop units? The one rooftop unit or any other ones? All right. Just a common practice. I don't know if everybody realizes this, but we're required to test for radon in the schools every 5 years, 10% of the classrooms. It's been 5 years since we've done it. So we'll be doing that this month. You know, never been an issue. You know, we found it in a few places throughout the school district. I want to say 3. We put some ventilation in and, you know, address the issue. I don't see that as a big deal, but it is, you know, someone might see the canisters and ask what it's about. And, but we've been doing it for years, so no one seems to have, but I wanted you guys to know about it. It's going to happen this month. Any questions about that?
Did you say that was every 10 years, Bill, that you're required to do that? 5. Okay. And
10%.
Say that again?
10% of the classrooms every 5 years.
That's what I heard. Thank you. 10% of the, so you just sort of rotate through?
Random. Yep.
Does it make sense at the same time to do some uranium testing, especially at Brown?
For what? Air? Uranium?
Uranium. Remember we had uranium issues?
We had it in the water.
Oh, it's in the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
the water and the water company took over our water systems. That was the best thing that was one of the best things that we did. And the water company took over the wells and managed the rainy, and it cost them a fortune. I don't understand. Didn't seem like I know how much it cost to do it, and it was huge numbers. But we're happy to have them managing it. And so they remove it, they test it. You know, they're a public water supply. They're scrutinized by the state health department. And I'm totally confident that they're removing it out of the water, and we're getting clean water. So no other questions about the testing. I'm going to go to the next item that I have on my list to share with you. We're not doing it. We're looking into potentially adding some energy savings. One of our biggest prices in our cost is the demand. You know, whatever the peak demand is in the summertime for energy is what we have to pay once a month. So if we can bring our peak demand down, and we could potentially do that with batteries, there would be the size of maybe 4 parking spaces. It'd be like a shed in the middle of the parking lot. We'd add these batteries. They would potentially reduce our peak demand and potentially save us money on our energy bill. So, of course, you can buy them, big capital expense, or you can do the same thing we're doing with the solar. We can do someone else pays for them, and then they share in the benefits because there's some incentives to do it. So preliminarily looking into it, if it becomes more of a potential feasible project and it makes economic sense, I'm definitely going to bring it to this committee and then we can move forward with it. Just another side note we have Woody Wise, who's the chairman of the Energy Committee. We have a consultant, Tom Latour. Those are sort of the people that I have been helping me review our energy needs. And we do it together with the town. So it's a town school joint project. The town sort of has been taking the lead, even though the schools use the most energy. Over the years, we just, been doing it together. It makes sense. So just a little background on some energy stuff that we're looking at.
Bill,
I don't have anything. Go ahead.
Bill, do the batteries get charged by solar when you go that way?
So it's interesting you say that because the potential is there. And, but this particular plan doesn't really do it that way, I don't think. And we're getting into the preliminary. Once we told them solar, that got them more excited and they're revisiting their details. So I think the answer is yes, but I don't really know that. The plan really is to shave the peaks. So I assume that the energy cost for the KWH is not the big number, it's the peak. So solar would definitely charge them in the summertime for sure. So I don't really have anything else that I can think of that I think you guys would be interested in for facilities that's going on. That's all I have.
A lot of good stuff, Bill. Thank you for the updates. Does anyone have questions for Bill before we go on to public comment or requests or concerns for our next meeting? No, I don't see any. No? All right, well, so you'll keep us posted, Bill, on those giant batteries. I'm trying to picture them. So we'll definitely I'll be curious to learn more about it and when the time.
Well, yeah, I imagine, I haven't seen them myself, but I imagine, you see those pods that people bring to their house.
Yeah,
That they move stuff. I think they're the size of a pod. They're big batteries, tractor trailer, maybe a little bigger than that. No, I don't think they're that big, but I will definitely have more details. I just wanted to share with you ideas that we're looking at that seem potential, feasible, but until we work out the details, I just wanted you to know, I was looking at it this last couple of weeks. We spent some time on it. I think it's an exciting potential idea, just like the solar. We worked on that for years before we moved forward with it.
yeah.
I also just wanted to thank Bill for including so many people in the entry design. He took a lot of feedback and the group kind of went through several different designs for the outdoor areas, both at Polson and Brown. So Bill, thank you for all your work on that and your openness to all of the feedback that you got. You were really flexible.
Yeah, it makes it fun. It definitely expands the scope and it makes it cost more money, but it's the big picture is it's a better project. I'm happy to do it. And, I'd like to see, I'm looking forward to seeing it done and completed and using it, I thank you, Gail. And I really appreciate it. Gail's been involved. Dr. Cook's been involved. And Martha was the only one that came tonight because the other ones are doing other things, but there was all the principals were participating and some of the elementary school principals as well. So it's good stuff. It's fun to be part of the project.
I think it'll look so nice. And I think it will be, obviously the emphasis on security and ADA, but just visually when you're approaching those two schools, they're not going anywhere. Those buildings, I think it'll make them so much more inviting. And like you said, the additional benefits of outdoor learning. I see kids running out in that Polson courtyard for mask breaks. And I just think it'll be a really nice enhancement to the school. So I'm excited for that. And I appreciate all the work that you've all done. So thank you.
Just worried about the money.
Yeah.
Money in the project. So that's great. Thank you, Gail. And if there's nothing else, and if there's something that you want me to update you on, if there's any topics that you're interested in, I'm always available personally, I'm available, or I can bring it up to the next meeting, whatever I can do to help out.
Thank you.
Facilities is fun for me. I know it's boring for most.
Well, it's fun for us too. Galen or Steve, do you have any other questions or comments before I open it up to public comment? No?
No, thank you.
All right, so we will open it up to public comment. Oh, Diane said thank you for answering her questions. Are there any other members of the public here or who would like to comment or ask any other questions? If so, you can just raise your hand. I see we have Diane and Jen and Maureen in there. Do any of you have any questions or comments?
No one has their hands raised right now.
Okay. All right. I think that takes us to the end of our agenda. Anything else anyone wants to add?
When's our next meeting?
No, it's not on here. When is our next meeting?
January 4th.
January 4th. I was going to say that seems so long away, but that's just less than a month.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'll be ready on the 4th to make a recommendation. If it goes really smoothly, yes. And we could award. And the process is that once we award, we need to just tell the Board of Education what we've done. That's how it's been. And I always look for you guys to support me and agree with my decisions. If there's ever a problem, I come to you and we chat about it. But, there's no real formal approval other than me pulling the trigger once we like it. But I don't know if the 4th I'll be ready, but I'll definitely give you an update and tell you where our status is and if there's any concerns where we are.
Sounds great. Thank you, Bill.
No problem.
All right. Well, that leads us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Galen? Second? All right, Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everyone. All right. Thanks so much, friends. I'll see